Hi, and welcome to the Money Effect, where I bring you all news, money, and finance related. So let's kick off with what's up with the markets this week. We've seen an impressive rally in, some of these technological stocks that have dropped a lot and some of the cryptocurrencies. But before we get into that, let's just discuss, what's the main themes in terms of, the macroeconomic backdrop going on, and obviously the big one is Russia and Ukraine. When these things happen, obviously this is, I think, it's the biggest issue in Europe since World War II. The biggest people getting evacuated, losing their homes, and things like that. The refugee crisis. Here you can see 4 million, biggest since World War II. So initially there's going to be a big shock, but now it's kind of in people's expectations that, okay, this is it now. Unless um, Putin decides to, you know, use nuclear weapons or any kind of situation like that, that's when, things will escalate rapidly, because then that might need NATO or America to step in. And then obviously that could now lead to World War III. And I don't think at this point nobody really wants that. So that's kind of like a red line everybody's abiding by. So unless we get to that level, I don't think this situation, in terms of how it's going to affect the markets and the economic backdrop, is going to have an impact. Obviously, in terms of the sanctions on Russia, we've reached a point where the only thing that can be done further now is Europe to say we're not going to use their gas. But at the moment, Europe is kind of hesitant to do that because they know if they don't use the Russian gas, especially if they've got nothing in place, that's going to lead to a sharp downturn and then a recession in the eurozone. So at the moment, they're kind of like everything's on the table apart from that. So again, it's kind of like that's at a standstill. So we've kind of had all the worst news apart from those two. Again, apart from Putin doing something dramatic, and then potentially NATO has to respond, and then obviously the eurozone cutting off gas, which is then going to increase inflation, and then which is already high. And again, inflation is that word I told you we're going to be hearing a lot about this year. But this week we've had a bit of progress. They're at a peace summit. They've been having peace talks, and yeah, I think Russia have said that they've completed stage one, now whatever that means, or who knows what stage one is. I thought they was gonna go in there and take the whole country, but it looks like they're having issues. They're getting met with resistance. They're not achieving their goals. Apparently, they said 15,000 Russian troops have died. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but this is now it's becoming a drag, and it looks like, well, the markets are taking it that Putin wants to seek a way out of this. Obviously a lot of these people been getting sanctioned, they're hitting their pockets. This is really kind of turned negative on him. So he's kind of thinking, you know what, you know, the world market is thinking he wants to get a way out of this, and there's been peace talks, and he's saying he's not going to escalate violence. Whether he's going to do that or not, we've already seen they're launching new strikes. Who knows? But in terms of the Ukraine and Russia backdrop right now, it's kind of like in the background, so to speak, at the moment. Also, we've got China again. China. These countries, China and Russia. I'm sorry, but I don't understand that. Communist countries. They can't live in peace. So obviously, there's a new corona variant going. Like, everyone's forgot about corona, but apparently it's still around. The UK have got a policy now. I believe it's they're living with it. There's been, I don't know, thousands of cases, but you can't even buy a test for free anymore. Got to pay for a test. Um, you're not getting calls for about vaccines anymore. It's up to you if you want to do that. All restrictions are lifted. You can travel where you want. The UK has decided we're going to live with it now. In winter, when you have the flu and stuff like that, maybe it mutates to BA3 or whatever. Maybe things are going to change. But right now, you've got China, who started this whole thing, have announced new lockdowns, and the world is just like, you know what? That's not even our concern anymore. We're past it now. Now, last time that happened, the whole world ended up locking down eventually when China locked down first. But now it's not really at the forefront of people's minds. So that's going to be an interesting one. Um, it's going to be an interesting one. So we'll see how that's going to, play out. But at the moment, it's risk on at the moment in the market. So let's look at some stock specific news. So some of the big stock specific news, we've got Tesla. Now Tesla's announcing it's going to split its shares, and the last time, and this is quite funny because look, you see here, the last time they split their shares, they did a 5-for-1. Uh, you know, 18 months ago, it kind of doubled. So they've announced that again. So will will the Tesla share price double? It's had a good, impressive run this week. Is there more to go? And that follows now. Tesla, Google, and Amazon. They're all going to do stock splits. I think over the next couple of months, maybe July. Me personally, I feel like okay, we've had a good run this week in the stock markets, especially with these companies. They're all up, but these are big companies. Okay, Tesla is still technically a growth company. Not sure it's making revenue, but Google and Amazon established companies. If you're thinking, you know what, I want to park some money, they're doing stock splits. We've seen when stock splits go, companies rise. Put your money here. Three big companies. That's it. They're all doing it. So, and you've seen Tesla's share price in retrospect. On this day it rose as well. So it's definitely a risk on right now, especially in the tech. And then we're also seeing, stuff like AMC. Okay, today it's down, but it had a big jump at the start of this week. The meme from GameStop and the meme stocks are gone again now. Would I put my money in here at this point? Probably not. But when things are low, it's like how low can they really get? This was all the way up here when it had there. It got here, there was some activity and it jumped. We've seen Robinhood. Robinhood announced that they're extending their trading hours by 4 hours. It jumped 25% in one day. What difference does that really make? So there is still a lot of FOMO out here, and it still might be this is dead. What they call a dead cat bounce. I think it's if you drop a cat out the window, does it bounce? And it could don't. If you're somebody that was new to investing and you was there when in the 2001 when all these stocks were going up and you're like, okay, this is the time now, maybe they're going to go up again. I wouldn't be so sure with these kind of companies, with the meme stocks, with the growth companies, but in terms of big tech, and you look at Google, Amazon, and Microsoft and Apple's had a tremendous run. I think it was up 12 days in a row. Like I've been saying, those kind of companies are always going to be, they're making money, they're vital in this world. Those big sell-offs we saw were just good opportunities to get them in. And I've got all these companies, and I'm going to hold them. I'm not selling out. I think the stock split for Google is around July. I think Amazon is potentially the same time. Not too sure about Tesla, but I'm going to hold these companies because I do believe we've still got more of a run to go. So yeah, that's what's going on in the stock market. So definitely a bullish week, and if you're trying to get back in to some of these depressed stocks that are actually making money though, definitely a great time to start building. Now in terms of the cryptocurrency is a bit of a weird one because we've seen Bitcoin has had again an impressive week. Now Bitcoin's had so many themes: inflation, payments, safe haven. It's really had everything. But and sometimes it's really kind of it's played all of those themes. But at the moment, it's to me, it's really just a risk-on asset. It's moving in line with tech. Now, if tech falls dramatically, or the risk assets like the S&P and stuff like that fall, and Bitcoin doesn't, then there will be some kind of decoupling, as in they're moving differently. But they're not. Stock markets had a great week this week, and surprise, surprise, Bitcoin's had a great week this week. If we look at the 7 day, you can see it right there. Started on, I believe, Sunday, Monday, and it's not. It's just gone up. We're still quite. We look at the all-time highs. We're still quite. We're still a long way to go to get back to those highs, and with the limited supply of Bitcoin, potentially, me, I've got Bitcoin, and I just keep on adding. It's not something I'm going to ever sell. Well, I want it to hit maybe like 1 million or something, but it's something I just add, and this is why I was preaching. If you look at my other videos, I was saying sometimes the psychologically of how you invest is important. If you're somebody that can catch these big moves, if you're somebody that said, what, at the start of the week, I see Bitcoin's making a big move, I'm just gonna put £10,000 in, then you're nice. You made some money. But if you're not somebody like that, realistically, and this is what I've been saying, we've seen from when this drop happened, if you look here, this is going back. Well, let's go back a year now. We hit the highs here. We kind of bottomed out around here. January this year, but there was still a lot of volatility. Just if you were somebody even here, going back to January, you know, um, if you was somebody here that said, around December, I'm just gonna start feeding and dripping in the market every week or every month a certain amount, you'd be up by now. And sometimes that is the best way to do it and to keep going, as opposed to thinking, because a lot of people here are not going to say, oh well, this is the bottom, let me just put 10 grand in. Yeah, maybe you get lucky, but a lot of people wouldn't, because what about this went down another 50%, then you've lost 5 grand. So listen, if you're a risk seeker, then yeah, go for it. If you're not a risk seeker, sometimes it's good to average in. And we've also seen with Ethereum, well, I don't have it here, but Ethereum has made a big move. Let's see, Ethereum 2.0. I've been speaking about Ethereum. Ethereum is one of the best coins in terms of practical usage. You've got the NFTs. You've got it's being used in this metaverse. You've got DeFi, decentralized finance, gaming finance now. So Ethereum is something it's all these ape club and stuff. We've seen this these bored apes and stuff. So a lot of them are building off that Ethereum blockchain network. But one of the problems with Ethereum, it's expensive to do a transaction. If you're sending Ethereum £100, your transaction is going to cost you like £30. That's not feasible, in the long run. And you've got all these layer twos built on Ethereum, or you've got other layer ones like Solana, which are like an Ethereum, but just a lot smaller. Where you can see here, it's done well, that have just got quicker transactions and quicker fees. So obviously, Ethereum 2.0 is kind of trying to move um, Ethereum into that direction to make it more scalable, to make it more quicker. And they had some good news about Ethereum this week, that's saying 2.0 is on progress to do this year. Because I'm not a crypto expert, but I don't know how the details go. But there's no deadline, because they've been talking about 2.0 now for more than a year. So there's no deadline to say oh well, it's going to be done here. It's going to no, it's when it's done. And right now, the good feeling is that it's going to be done soon. So that's why Ethereum's had a big mark. And again, listen, I've done videos before. I've told you the cryptos. I mean, if there's different levels of cryptos. There's the mainstream ones. Bitcoin, is Bitcoin really used for anything? I don't know, but it's Bitcoin. Ethereum, that's used for everything. Then you've got other ones. The Ethereum killers, Solanas, Polka Dots, those ones, layer ones. And all you've got cryptos built on Ethereum that are trying to solve some of the problems, like the scalability, like the transaction fees, that Ethereum can't solve. And then you've got obviously the meme coins like the Dodges and now this ape coin that really don't have no utility. But when you have somebody like Elon Musk saying he's buying it, will pump. And it just depends how you play it. If you're, like I said, if you're a trader and you think, you know what, you want to jump on those pumps and get in and out, and you've got the stomach for that, that's cool. Me personally, I don't. Sometimes I do jump on the pump, sometimes I don't. But what I always do is I accumulate my Bitcoin, I accumulate my Ethereum, I accumulate my Solana. And I've been saying this. If you go back and look at my videos, 3 months ago, I've been saying that. So now this week for me is a vindication week, because my everything for me now is back up. I'm sitting nice. Will I take some money off the table? Maybe a little bit, but really and truly, I'm looking at the long term for these things. So, and they're not nowhere near their highs, recent highs, and I think they've got a lot higher to go. So me personally, I'm going to stay in them. Now, another reason why I'm going to stay in them is because we're seeing now a lot of talk about regulation. So we're seeing there's a European landmark crypto regulation was going to come, and they've already said they're not banning Bitcoin. They've already let it known, listen, we're not banning Bitcoin. We think Bitcoin is here to stay. We just need to know how we're going to regulate it, i.e., how we're going to make tax off it. We've already seen India, they put some crypto in and they're talking about banning it. They didn't ban it. They just said that any money you make now, we're going to take 30% off. Now, these countries are broke as well. So why are they going to ban something if they think they can make money off it? So that's another thing that's helped Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies now, because everyone's like, okay, well, they're not getting banned now. People are realizing these things are official. Yeah, the bored apes and I think Everybody knows what's happened with Will Smith. If you don't know, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Grammys. I think there's a Will Smith slap token. Things like that are just stupid. They're no utility values. Obviously, there's going to be people that buy them, people that pump them, people that dump them. But when it comes to things that could actually change the world and actually have real world uses, which we're seeing, I'm not an NFT expert, but it is a real world use. Whether the valuations, me personally, I don't have any NFTs, but whether the valuations are um, justified, you'd have to ask somebody in that field. But it's showing that is a real world use, having an art as a digitalized token. That's a real world use, and everything has to start from somewhere. Just like the internet started, and people say, "Oh, what's the internet? The Web 1 was all this nonsense," and then look at the internet now. That's how everything starts. And I personally feel in like 10, 15 years, you're gonna see some crazy stuff with crypto. Me personally, and this is the time to get in. So we've we've seen some of the traditional alt ones run. Like me personally, a favorite of mine is Solana. Obviously, Terra that's had a big run now. Um, Partly because they're buying Bitcoin. Now, will we see the other alts? Like I say, here's Terra. It's had a great run this week. You know, um, and these are the alts that actually have uses. So they're not like the dodges and that. So look at this. If you're up 50, it's doubled in about what, a week. You know, Now you've got these Dogecoin and all this. Listen, I ain't got no Dogecoin. Will I jump into it and probably start stacking? Maybe, probably, because we haven't had alt season yet, and look, you can see here we're way off where the highs of this. So we haven't had the alt season yet. So maybe we will have the alt season. But right now everything is looking bullish in the market. Look, people are saying it's time to snap up Sheep, Babe, all these coins. Everything is looking bullish in the market at the moment. Obviously, it's not when things are looking bullish. There's probably going to be a little sell off now where people start taking their money. But at the same time, I think, like I said, keep aware on the backdrop, Ukraine and Russia. If Putin doesn't drop that bomb, and China, this are just again hyping with their lockdowns, because everyone's moved past that now, especially for summer. Because I ain't locking down in summer. I'm trying to be out there and enjoying myself. We in winter we can have this COVID conversation again, maybe because of the flu and that. But right now, next few months, I don't envision anyone locking down like China. So for me personally, we're in the phrase of next good couple of months. If Putin don't drop that bomb, we're in a good position. So this is the Money Effect, just bringing you a weekly roundup of what's going on. Signing out. Please like and subscribe for the algo. And yeah, catch you later. Should have said let's go, but let's go. Let's get it.